Hey everyone, I wanted to do a quick video because I had a number of people that were interested in something that I kind of glanced over quickly last night, so I thought I'd put this video together to get a little bit more in depth on what I got going on here. Okay, what we have here is internet out in my barn, which is probably a good 30 or so yards away from the house. I'll show you that when I get outside. And the way I'm doing this is I'm using, essentially with the one in the house, I've got 3 wireless routers. Okay. Now none of these are expensive routers. I think I paid $20 for the black one and about $10 for the blue one used on Craigslist. They come up on Craigslist all the time. Now, bear with me here. Essentially what we've got is your typical wireless setup up at the house. Your modem comes in, you got a cable that goes from your modem to your wireless router, and all your computers are up at the house are sharing that wireless access. That's just fine. What I've done here is piggybacked off that wireless. Now, the distance of my barn from the house is too far, too great for the wireless signal to reach. So, what I have done is taken this router and used it to create something called a bridge. Basically, it connects to the wireless up at the house just like if it were a computer connecting to the wireless. And then it shares its wired internet connection with any computers that are plugged into the back here. So I wouldn't even need this second router if I had a desktop computer that I could just plug into this down here. Okay? That's important to know. Now, I'm using an iPad and an iPhone down here. Neither of those have Ethernet cables. So, what I have done is plug this router into that one. So this one is getting its internet connection from that router and sharing it wirelessly. Now, the first question that pops in your mind is, why can't you just do that with this one? I mean, this is a wireless base station. It should be able to do that. Well, the reality is it can. However, if it's connecting to the base station up at the house and it's sharing its wireless internet connection here, first off, I have seriously gimped the antenna and thus the range by hooking up this external antenna. And second, by connecting it to the one up at the house, I have effectively cut its available bandwidth in half. Okay, half the bandwidth is being used to connect up to the house. The other half is being used to share internet around here. So it's going to slow things down quite a bit, and it's going to gimp my range terribly. Thus, the second router. Okay. Now, so how this thing is configured: regular wireless Wi-Fi router up at the house. The blue one here on the right is connected as a bridge, and then a regular Wi-Fi router on the left. So the key to this whole situation is that blue router on the right. That blue router on the right is running a special firmware called Dd-Wrt. The website is dd-wrt.com. I'll put it down in the description. So, I'm going to walk outside while I'm talking. What is Dd-Wrt? Dd-Wrt is an aftermarket software that replaces the software that comes from the factory on those things. What it essentially does is it takes a $50 router and gives it the features of a $500 router, like ones that a small business would use. Okay, that's the only difference between a $50 router and a $500 router is the software, believe it or not. So, replacing that firmware gives me the ability to make that blue router act as a wireless bridge. Okay? Now, wireless bridge is fine, but we still have this issue of the house being way up there. And I tell you right now, where my wireless router is, if I take my iPad, walk away from the house, my signal runs out, well, about the edge of the garden here. Okay, not quite far enough to get down here to the barn, especially now considering I'm inside metal walls. All right, so we've got this little contraption. Now, the technical term for this is a waveguide antenna. The common name for this is a cantenna, C-A-N-T-E-N-N-A. Now, if you're interested, you can just go to cantenna.com and you can buy yourself a Pringles can antenna. It's just like this, only longer, made out of a Pringles can. All pre-made. I think they're 40 bucks plus shipping. Now, me being the tinkerer that I am, I didn't want to go that way. So I have a soup can and this little kit with the element right there and the cable that goes in and plugs into my router was like $27 shipped. So I saved myself like 13 bucks. And I had to get that little piece of copper and stick in there and solder it in, and you know, then you gotta go on this website, which I will post the address to down below in the description, and you punch in the diameter of your can and it tells you like how far away from the back of the can you need to make your holes. Then you just gotta drill some holes to mount it. No big deal for anyone that watches this video for sure. So that's it in a nutshell. Wow, look at the sunset. Beautiful. No red though. Okay. Now, again, the key to this whole thing, you know, anyone I'm sure reading this can make that antenna without a problem. Anyone of you guys can find a cheap router on Craigslist without any problem. The thing that might be a problem for those of you that are not computer savvy is installing the firmware on a router. It's not for the faint of heart. It's not too bad, but it's not super easy either. If you're relatively computer savvy, like would consider yourself a bit of a geek, you could, even if you've never put together a computer, you probably have the expertise to install that firmware. If you're the kind that you know, has to have a little cheat sheet to remember how to check your email, then you're not going to be able to do it. In that case, I would either, you know, get a friend that's computer savvy to help you out, or you can actually buy a router that is pre-configured with Dd-Wrt, and I think they're probably in the neighborhood of about $100. So, that's about it. I'm going to post a lot of links in the description below. I'll post a link to the Dd-Wrt website. I'll post a link to the tin can waveguide antenna page. That has a lot of theory on it, and you don't need to know any of the theory. All you need to know is that you need a tin can that's at least 3 1/4 inches in diameter, and you need to go down to the little calculator that's about 3/4 of the way down the page, and you need to type in the diameter of your can, and it will give you the figure that you need for the distance from the back of the can. What else? And then the other thing you'll need is the little kit with the wire and the element and stuff to make the antenna itself. I'll put that link below, and then I'll also put the link to the Cantenna website below if you just want to buy one pre-made. That's about it, guys. I feel like I'm missing something, but I think that's about it. I'll also put a link to the Dd-Wrt documentation page for a bridge that tells you the basic configuration, how to configure it. That's about it, guys. If you're a computer tinkerer, I'm sure you'll have fun with that project. And like I said, you know, it's nice because I got internet down here and I can actually watch some YouTube videos while I'm sanding, so that's pretty cool. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and have a good one. Bye.